Paul Fury. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. There's one question in my mind after watching the entire card, and that is Jake Paul a man of his word? We're going to get to the main event, but I want to give you my reactions as a former boxer, a world champion chess boxer, and a boxing promoter. I want to talk through this move by Saudi Arabia about having pro boxing happen by the decree of the royal prince, and why they brought together a card like Paul Fury, because it wasn't just the main event, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, that was at the center of what they were doing. They had a co-main event. Badou Jack against a reigning, defending WBC champion that got dethroned. So first, I'll talk about that co-main event. Badou Jack is 39 years old. He is a Muslim cruiserweight boxer. Just for this fight, he's won world championships in 2 other divisions. So he is coming up in weight at the age of 39 to fight a current champion at the age of 35. Okay? So for him to do this, he, by winning in like a fabulous fashion, he got 2 knockdowns with big right hands against the southpaw, tripping him up with good foot placement, good angles, and winning definitively with a knockout in the 12th round. It was only scheduled for 12 rounds. He knocked him out in the 12th round. By doing this, he became the oldest cruiserweight world champion in history. He became the first Muslim in history to win on Muslim soil, and he helped kick off this new tradition of boxing that Saudi Arabia is hoping to have with this event, and the past heavyweight fight that happened a few months ago. So, that co-main event was awesome. It makes sense of why they wanted to do it, with like the Muslim tie-ins, with Badou Jack being pretty recognizable for like the legacy boxing fans, people that have been around for a while. They want to pull in them, along with this new audience that Jake Paul is attracting, and that Tommy Fury is just in the lineage of these old boxing fans, with his older brother, Tyson Fury, being the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And then, people in attendance like Mike Tyson, like Devin Haney, like the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder. You see these kind of people in the crowd, it automatically lends legitimacy. It brings a lot of star power. Cristiano Ronaldo was there. Like, all kinds of like big time people. They had Michael Buffer doing the ring announcing. We heard, "Let's get ready to rumble," in all of its glory in this event. And so overall, I think it was really well done. Worth the $50 pay-per-view. Take my money. Well done. And now let's talk about the main event. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. Is Jake Paul a man of his word? What I mean by that is Jake Paul going to go through with his promise that he signed a contract for, to give all of his winnings, all of his guarantee, and I understand that he didn't win, so there can't be any winnings, but all the money that he was going to make from this match, is he actually going to give it to Tommy Fury? Or, like in his post-fight interview, is he gonna have some excuses? Jake Paul thinks he won. And in all fairness, I also think Jake Paul won. On my card, I had Jake Paul winning by 2 points. I thought he scored 2 10-8 rounds. It definitely won. Round 8, when he scored a clear knockdown with his jab where Tommy's glove touched the ground, which is like when you start counting, that was a 10-8 round. And it's arguable that he had another 10-8 round when he was a much busier fighter, and he landed 2 big overhand rights that did real damage. That being said, Tommy looked great. He looked way better than I thought he did. I thought Tommy was like padded up because of his name and because of how most pro boxers start their career, which is to have a bunch of builder fights. You fight guys that are like 5 and 50. They've won 5 fights because they wanted to be a boxer once upon a time, but they've transitioned to the kind of career where they just build up other prospects. They take fights for a couple $1,000s that pay the bills for them, that give them some exposure, that help them get the next fight, but they go in knowing that they're a lamb going to slaughter, that they're going to some young wolf that's on the up and up that is going to knock them out or win a decision or whatever to build up the record. I thought that's all Tommy was. I thought Tommy was a name, a good-looking guy with big muscles, and someone with like, no real fights. Going into this fight, Jake Paul even had more pro rounds than Tommy. People aren't talking about that. 26 rounds to 24 rounds. 2 more pro rounds for Jake. Not being as experienced as a boxer. But Jake definitely showed that he belongs in a pro boxing ring. He belongs in there against someone like Tommy Fury, who's another up-and-coming pro boxing prospect. Now, if anyone either of them go against like a top 10 fighter from their weight class, they get manhandled. Like, it isn't even close. But for where each of them are in their career, being early to mid-20s, I think it's brilliant that they're like headlining a big money event in Saudi Arabia. Fantastic. Speaking of that big money, is Jake Paul going to follow through with his promise and give the money to Tommy Fury? That is my main question. I don't know. Like, if I'm arguing for Jake Paul, I'm like, okay, the ref, like, those point deductions were BS. He stepped in way too much to disrupt the flow of the fight. Like, I could blame a lot on a ref. I could also take the excuse of what Jake Paul himself said, which was he was injured in training camp. This wasn't the best version of himself. He's definitely going to enact that rematch clause. Maybe he just kind of rolls over this promise that he made for his earnings to go to Tommy into the rematch. Maybe they just say, hey, double or nothing in that. But if I'm on the other side, Tommy Fury, like, man, I won the fight. I just had a baby a month ago. I just had like the most exposure and the biggest payday of my life. And I get to double it, according to Jake Paul, who signed the contract. Even if me, as Tommy Fury, didn't co-sign that contract. I think in the press, I'm saying, are you a man of your word? And you just challenge Jake Paul's character. You see what he does. Mr. Moneybags, are you going to give up some of that money to like follow through with what you said? Or are you going to pull these excuses that the crowd in Saudi Arabia was literally booing Jake Paul during the post-fight interview when he was like, props to Tommy. He won the fight. And he started well with that interview, by the way. That's how you start an interview after you lose. And then he said, but. And that's always a bad sign. Everything that came after the but, big thumbs down. But the ref sucked. But I was injured in training camp. But I scored 2 10-8 rounds. I don't agree with the judges. Come on, dude. Take it on the chin. Come back from the loss and enact that rematch clause and make it definitive next time. Land some of those overhand rights that you were throwing really well. He landed a few, but like, boom. Put him on his butt. Don't let it go to the judge's card and finish the fight. So, big question. Let me know in the comments if you think Jake Paul is going to follow through giving all of his earnings to Tommy Fury. Let me know. See you next time.